Hi guys, today I am going to be showing you my Christmas planner setup. This is the first Christmas planner I've ever had. In the past I've had kind of like to-do list notes and I've had a TN insert. I've never done a dedicated planner just for Christmas before, but this year I have managed to put together a whole Christmas planner. I've designed the inserts, I've decorated it, I've bought things for it, so I'm super excited to share it with you. The planner itself that I'm using is probably the worst planner to film a video with because it is so shiny. It just reflects my studio light completely. So whilst I'm showing you the outside, it is going to be a bit glary, but it won't be as glary when I'm showing you the inside, so hopefully you can bear with. This planner is the A5 Gold Saffiano by Filofax. I have had this planner along with the personal size for about 2 or 3 years, I think. I did, when I got them, intend on using them at Christmas time for either my general planner or for a Christmas planner, but I just never got around to using them. So when I was planning to set up my Christmas planner this year, I straight away grabbed for this one. The planner itself I love the Saffianos. They hold their shape so well and they still have like the squidge to them, which I love. I feel like the camera and the light and stuff doesn't really appreciate this planner band just as much as I appreciate it. It just isn't showing it that great, but this is a planner band that I made myself. I bought a length of elastic sequins and I cut it to the size I needed and then sewed it together. I have got a load of this stuff left, which I might try and cut some down to sell just like until it's gone basically, because I don't need it for anything else. I bought it purely for this one thing. Inside the planner, this is how I have it set up. As you can see, this is the reason why I have this planner band here. When I didn't have the planner band on it, it was just such a weird colour. I don't know why they chose this colour for the inside. It's the one thing I don't like about the planner. I'm assuming it's meant to be gold, but because this gold is so white, it's like white gold, this just ends up looking like a weird murky brown. So I tried to kind of break it up a bit and this was the best way I could think of. So now I have a nice strip of red sequins which kind of breaks up the brown a bit, and there isn't such a massive space of the weird brown colour. Over here in the pockets, there isn't many pockets to fill. There's one big one and then there's like 3 little card slots behind it, and then back here you have a big pocket. In this pocket I have a polar bear clip which I got ages ago. I don't think the shop is even in business anymore. This was, I think it was given to me from someone. It has like a purple paper clip which I feel like I could probably change to something a bit more fitting, but the tartan ribbon is just the best. And then behind those, just to hide the card slots I'm not using, I put a little envelope from Do Crafts. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen an Insta story I posted a few weeks ago where I was talking about Christmas red and Christmas green and how there is a specific colour that I look for when I'm thinking of Christmas, and how there seems to be a kind of lacking in the classic Christmas colours when it comes to craft supplies. Obviously everyone has their own opinion on it. I'm not saying that this is the only red and green that people have to use for Christmas. This was just my personal preference. I really just wanted classic Christmas green and Christmas red in this planner. As much as I love some of the new colour schemes that are out there for Christmas, I just found it really hard to find craft supplies that were like proper Christmas red, Christmas green. So I had to do a bit of hunting and I did manage to find some bits. Over here I have a thank you card which I got from Paper Chase quite a few years ago. It is an actual thank you card. I've just laminated it and obviously I took the string out and then put the string back in afterwards, and this is just in here basically as decoration. The first divider in here is gifts and cards, so it kind of relates to that a bit. I then have this beautiful shaker dashboard from Geraldine. I approached her and said, I have a ton of sequins, would you be up for making me a shaker dashboard? She was so kind and she said of course. She actually gifted it to me, which was so lovely of her. But yeah, if you're looking for a shaker dashboard, Geraldine is your person to go to. She is reopening her shop very soon and she has let me know that she will be doing some shaker dashboards, so if you want to get your hands on one, hers are just the best. I haven't found any that are quite as good as Geraldine. So she made this for me and it is, let me take it out so I can show you properly. This is just, I just love it. You just can't get any more Christmassy than that, can you really? Like, oh. It turns out as well that I had actually made my dividers a bit too wide. I tend to oversize my dividers a bit anyway because I want them to cover the whole of the A5 inserts, and I think Geraldine makes her dashboards a bit slimmer as well because sometimes she adds pom-poms down the side, so her templates are a bit smaller. But it worked out absolutely perfect because As you can see, I have like a line of striped washi down the side of my dividers, and you can still see that even though the dashboard is in front of it. So yeah, I was very happy about that and how it all worked out perfect. The dividers I've kept very simple. I used some craft paper from Paper Chase. I've made them the same way I make all my dividers, so I've just cut a piece of card out and stuck it on the back for the tab. Some people choose to cover this so it doesn't look like this, but I just don't bother because I just rarely ever see the back of my dividers, so it's just one of those steps that I cut out because there's no point spending time doing that for me personally. So yeah, so I've got 6 dividers. There's gifts and cards, traditions, crafts, food, journal and miscellaneous. So first one's gifts and cards, and these are my inserts I've designed. I chose to design my own inserts because I've just not been able to find anything that's simple enough for my style. I'm not a massive fan of like over decorated pages when it comes to the practicality of using the inserts. So as much as they are pretty when you see all these ones with little images and stuff on, I decided to keep it simple and just add a pop of colour with a very basic grid. So this is my Christmas cards list. So I've got name, written and sent. I then have gifts bought, so I have 2 different ones of these. So I have this one with the smaller boxes, and then I also have this one with the bigger boxes. So it just says name, gifts and price. I've got the 2 different size boxes because for my family and stuff I will want more space because I tend to buy them odd bits and pieces, and like close friends which I tend to buy more than one present for, and then the smaller boxes for people who I might be only buying 1 or 2 things for or making 1 or 2 things for. So those are my little gift trackers. I then have gift ideas, which is just basically note paper, so I can jot down anything that I've like suddenly thought of or suddenly seen and thought, ooh, that would be really good for so and so. I can just jot it down and refer to it another time, but instead of it being on like scrap paper or note paper at the back, it's in the right section in my planner. And then I have a thank you cards tracker, so this will come in handy on Christmas Day if I receive any gifts from anyone. So I've got space for name, gift/gifts, written and sent. I can write down who it's from, write down what they got me, and then obviously refer to this when I'm doing the thank you cards. You will notice that the colours of the green and the red are not proper Christmas green and Christmas red. That is because I really struggled with this, not just with the mixing of the watercolours to try and get the right colour, but then when I scanned them in and put them onto my laptop, again it felt like the colours changed, and I just ended up kind of giving up and was like, okay, green is there and that's red and we'll just leave it at that. I wasn't going to spend hours and hours on end trying to colour match them when I just basically needed to get some inserts made. So bear that in mind, but I don't mind it as much because the black and the white is there, which is the same as my dividers, so it kind of matches in that sense. I then made this out of some journaling cards and other bits and pieces from my Christmas stash. This is one of the reasons I decided to keep my dividers quite plain, so I can add bits and pieces in front of it and kind of layer things up. So each year I can change these things up rather than making a whole new set of dividers. On the back of this divider it went a bit bubbly, so we'll just ignore that because I wasn't going to redo it. It's doing its job just fine. It just looks a bit funky here, so we'll just ignore that. For me personally, my 2 main traditions are films and jigsaws. So I decided to basically make a list of the films I definitely want to see, and also kind of tracking what films I watched this year, so I can kind of refer back to it. I just have film and then watched, so I can put the date as to when I watched it. It will also let me know then how many days in December I watched films. And then I also have a similar chart for jigsaws. So on here I just have a space for the puzzle, so I can write the puzzle name or describe it. And I have started and finished, so I can put a start date and a finish date, and that's all I have in there at the moment. I then have a divider for crafts because during December I tend to do quite a few crafts just kind of off the internet. Like, I don't share it necessarily on the internet, I just do them because I want to do them and I want to sit and watch films and craft. So I found myself searching Pinterest a lot recently, and I've been pinning them to a board, which is all fine and dandy and I can refer back to that whenever I want, but I'm a tactile person and I wanted to have a space to kind of document all the different crafts that I have done or want to try around Christmas time. So I have these inserts which are DIY decor. I just have supplies, tools and steps. I also put a little splodge of watercolour in here just to kind of break up the big box a bit. I decided to print a few photos for these inserts so I can stick them in. This is obviously an empty page, but I've just stuck in some photos here. I need to write the steps and stuff still, but this was something I made last year. I made a pom-pom garland with bells, which doesn't really do much when they're hung up. They don't really make a noise, but you know, for looks and stuff, they look really good. And then I have these pages which are fun DIYs. These are the sort of DIYs where there's not really a point in doing them necessarily. You're just doing them for the sake of creating something. For example, a pom-pom Christmas pudding isn't really something that you can use on a practical level. So things like that I'm putting in here, just kind of pointless fun, quick DIYs. So I print them off of Pinterest and write down the steps and stuff, and I've also put the website where it was from originally on here just in case I need to reference it in more detail or I want to show someone it and send a link or something instead. So I just have a load of those pages in here. The next divider is food. So one of the other things I enjoy doing around Christmas is baking. I don't really cook much, I'm more of a baker. But I kept the divider kind of neutral by labelling it with food rather than baking or cooking. So if I did want to cook something or attempt to cook something, then I could add it in here as well. So I designed these inserts because I just wanted something to write quick recipes down in. So I have recipe and then a space to put like what the recipe is, prep time, cook/bake time, and oven temperature. Then I have a space for ingredients and then the steps. Obviously you're not going to fit a massively long recipe in here, which is why I then designed these ones as well. So if I want to write just a whole recipe out, I can do, or if I wanted to print something out and then have it like fold down or fold outwards, I can put it in here and it still kind of fits the rest of the inserts. Like it still looks like it's part of a thing rather than having just a random recipe punched and stuck in here. That's just me and my neatness with my inserts. I like everything to look kind of uniform and together. So yeah, those are the two recipe inserts that I designed. In here I have a page from A Christmas Carol that I think Meg gave me when she gave me a load of book pages, and I noticed that one was from A Christmas Carol, so I've kept it, I've laminated it and punched it and just popped it in here as like, yeah, just an extra bit of decoration. This divider is the journal section. Obviously I'm gonna have my journal, like my actual journal, my creative journal, to journal like photos and stuff in, but I wanted something in my planner where I could quickly jot down little memories with not too much decoration. Like I don't have to decorate it if I don't want to because I have a bit of decoration and a bit of colour on here. So I've kept these kind of simple, but they're all a bit different. So I have this one which just has date at the top, and then you have like a space for writing, and then you have highlight of the day. I have this one which just says date at the top, and then it has lined paper basically, so if I just wanted to write and write and write, I could do that. I have this page which is a blank page and it says mementos, so if I have anything I want to stick in, I can pop them in here. Again, a different sort of version of this one, it just has a green strip at the top, and another mementos one, and then this one again, same as the mementos one but with a green banner at the top. And then I have this one which is very similar to this one, but it just says snap of the day, so if I did want to include 1 or 2 photos I could pop them in here, and then I have like space to write around the edge. So I've just printed those off kind of randomly in here so I can do whatever I want. Like if I wanted to just skip to a written page, I can just write and write and write. If I wanted to skip to one of these pages, I could do. They're just going to be ones which jump about a bit. Yeah, that's how I'm adding a bit of journaling in my planner. I wanted it simple, I wanted it all kind of just in one divider, nothing too fancy, and I think I've achieved it. Hopefully I will use them, we will see though. And then my last divider is miscellaneous, and in here I just have a load of note pages. I did design a couple of different ones, so I just have this one which is like a full page of notes, and then these ones which are like half page of notes and then half page of don't forgets, and then again another notes page but with a different colour banner. I just tried to keep it simple but change it up a little bit so it's not all exactly the same. I then just have a pocket which came with the planner, and I don't know what I'm going to use that for, it's just there for the sake of having it there really. And I also have a divider which went wrong, so I've decided to keep it at the back as a bit of a page lifter. You can't really see it when all the pages are like in front of it anyway, but it does help to keep all of the pages like straight around the rings rather than having them tucked around the rings. And that was how I was going to decorate them until I added the strips of washi tape, which I much preferred. And then of course right at the back I have the notepad which came with the planner, and I'm just going to leave that there for the sake of having a spare notepad because you never know. So that is my Christmas planner for 2018, and probably for 2019 and 2020 I don't plan on moving out of this particularly, and if I do I'll probably keep the inserts the same and just move into a different coloured planner. But yeah, there's no real need to keep changing it throughout the year once it's planned, it's planned and sorted and done. The inserts I designed, I have decided to offer up for free. I'll have a link to my website below where you can download them. There is a few extra ones in there that I've not shown in here because I won't necessarily use them myself. But I was talking to my mum and she was like, ooh, it'd be really good if you did this one that you won't necessarily use but someone else might, like her. For example, planning meals for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day and stuff. So if you do want to have a go at using them yourself, they are only in A5 size. I haven't resized them. I'm not gonna resize them because it's just not really a need for me personally, and it would be very time consuming, and because I'm not getting any money for them, I'm offering them for free. It just wouldn't be a great use of my time. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed having a look through this with me. I'll have some links below to anything I've mentioned in this video. If you do have any questions though, let me know below and I will of course get back to you. I would also love to know what you're using for Christmas planning this year. Are you using a ring bound planner? Are you using a spiral bound? What size are you using? But yeah, thank you all so much for watching and I will see you in my next video.